In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a geode mould using silicone putty from Just For You online. There's a list there of things that you will need to recreate what I'm making in this video. So I've got my two pots of putty that need mixing together, so there's part A and part B. So what I'm going to do now is open these and mix two large scoops there on the table together. As you can also see on the table, I have 3D printed a shape of a geode. You don't actually need that. I just printed it because I could. You'll quite easily be able to recreate this freehand. So as you can see, I'm just getting the scoops of putty now. More or less the same. You don't need to measure them, you just need to guess it. And for the next part, I'm only going to be mixing the two colours together until there's no white showing and it's all purple. And I'm going to speed this part of the video up because otherwise you'll be bored. Once that's been mixed, I'm kind of making it into like a sausage shape to line the inside of my 3D printed geode. You don't actually need that, as I said earlier. You could just place your putty onto your silicone mat in a shape that you would like. You can put it onto the mat so that it will cure onto there. It will come off later. It just means you don't have to put anything else underneath it. Mine is going on the inside of this printed geode, and I'm just going to rest it on the silicone mat and not use anything else underneath it, and you'll see how it works. You do have to be quite fast with the silicone putty because it cures in under 5 minutes. The next stage, and what I'm doing now, is I've got my little clear crystals that I'm just patting on the inside of the silicone to make the marks of a geode. So they all go in there. Again, you've got to work fairly fast. If you don't manage to get them all in before it sets, don't worry, because this happened to me. So I'm going to be showing you in the video how you can rectify this later on. Now all the crystals are in there, I've actually pushed some round the outside, and I'm using Apex 1-coat resin to fill in the gap there to make the actual geode. I'm using 1-coat for the simple reason that it will set quicker, it will cure quicker. Once the putty is cured, I can now remove it from the outside of the geode. So I'm carefully peeling this off. There will be some crystals that do come off with it, but don't worry about that. As you can see, because it's been on my mat, the underside will be quite dull, but we don't need to worry about that. Also, as I said earlier, there will be some missing around the outside, so to counteract for that, I've got my Apex UV resin, and what I'm doing now is going around the geode, putting the UV resin on, and then adding the crystals round the side and curing it with the machine. So as you can see, if you do run out of time putting all the crystals in before the silicone's cured, there is a way to rectify it. So now I've covered all around this and it's ready to do the bigger mould, to mould the whole thing as part of the project. For this next part, we're mixing part A and part B of silicone putty together again. Because we're going to be moulding the geode that we've made, we do need quite a lot of putty for this. So when I was mixing it, I think it was about 5 scoops out of the purple and 5 scoops out of the white mixed together. As you can see now, I've patted this out once it's been mixed and I've put the geode into the putty. I'm then going to add some more putty around the outside so that we can get the full shape and get all those crystals that we've put on round the side into the mould. As you can see, I'm patting the putty around the geode to make sure that I get the full imprints of the crystals. Once this part has been done, we can just leave the putty to set to make the mould. Now the putty is set, we can actually take the geode that we made out to see what the mould is like underneath that we've made. It might be a little bit of a tussle, but you'll be able to get it out. And here we are, the finished mould. So the next stage is to test the mould by filling it up and seeing how it turns out. For this part of the video, I'm going to use some silver foil pieces and some opalescent flakes from Just For You online. I'm also going to be using Apex High Gloss resin for this part too. So what I'm doing now is placing the silver foil randomly inside the mould to try and make it look a bit like the centre of a geode and how it would be. This part of the process is totally up to you what you use. Just let your creative flair go wild. So the next part I'm using is absolutely gorgeous purple pinky green opalescent flakes, and I'm just brushing them on the inside of the mould. I'm only going to do this in the middle of the mould and not on the edges, because I'm going to use some fine glitter for around the edges of the geode. Obviously I've sped this part of the video up so that we can show you the end result quicker. As you can see, once I've done that, I'm just tapping any excess out to huff, so it hopefully won't get mixed in with the glitter resin that I'm going to put in on top. So now I'm just mixing some fine glitter. This is actually a matte glitter, but it's a holographic one, into my Apex High Gloss resin, and then just pouring it into my mould. I'm going around the edges first, trying to try and stop the purple going into the edges. Once that's been poured, we just need to wait for it to cure. And here we have the end result. Let's see what our mould is like. The final reveal is always the best part of making your own mould, to see what it's actually come out like. And here we are. I'm impressed with that. Hope you like it too. If you've followed this video and you've made your own geode, please share it on one of the Just For You pages on either Instagram or Facebook, and let's see what it's like. Thanks for watching and bearing with me.